Pompeii vanished on an ordinary day, chillingly normal. Today, we're stepping into Pompeii, before Vesuvius erupted. We're not starting with ash or destruction. We'll see it alive, forum busy, ovens hot. Businesses booming, with Vesuvius as a backdrop. And that's the most powerful part of this story. Pompeii didn't fall in war or become a ghost town. It vanished on an ordinary day. That's why it's so chilling. Normal life existed before disaster. We can still piece together that routine from preserved streets, buildings, and objects. Pompeii wasn't some backwater of Italy. It was near Naples, in fertile land, connected by roads and sea. It had centuries of Samnite, Greek, and Roman influences. By the time Rome took over, the city already had a rich history. It adapted, didn't start from scratch. You see it in the forum. To get Pompeii, you have to start here. It was the city's heart, political, religious, economic. Justice was served, deals made, ceremonies held, showing who was in charge and how public life worked. But there's a key detail. In 79 AD, Pompeii was still under repair. A 62 AD earthquake damaged buildings and streets. Work was still happening 17 years later. That totally changes how we see the city. We're not entering a perfect Pompeii. We're entering a living city, fixing past damage when something far worse struck. At the forum's north end stood the Temple of Jupiter. From there, you saw the plaza and Vesuvius beyond. That view sums up Pompeii's trap. The mountain didn't feel like a constant threat. It was part of the scenery, the horizon, integrated into daily life, almost unseen. Nearby was the basilica. The name's misleading, it wasn't a church, but a large civic building for courts, contracts, and business. Thinking of Pompeii as just frescoes, gardens, and villas misses a lot. It was also a practical city. Debts, lawsuits, sales, estates, administration. That less glamorous side kept it going. Leaving the forum, Pompeii truly changes. You leave the political hub for daily life, narrow streets, raised sidewalks, stepping stones, and chariot tracks in the road. That's where it gets much more real. You're not just seeing old buildings. You're seeing how a real Roman city functioned. Bakeries, taverns, workshops, and thermopolia were there too. Those were spots for quick meals and drinks. Pompeii was dense, commercial, and very visible. The baths completed that picture. Not a luxury, but normal city life. They were for cleaning, talking, and business. This is key to shattering stereotypes. Roman private life wasn't like ours. Social activities happened in public spaces well preserved in Pompeii. If you want to see how the city partied, head to the Amphitheater. Built in the 1st century BC, it's the oldest standing stone amphitheater in the Roman world. It held thousands from Pompeii and nearby towns. That says a lot about the place. Pompeii wasn't just a commercial hub. It craved spectacle, prestige, and public image, and one event proves it. In 59 AD, games sparked a major riot. Entertainment. Then there's the other Pompeii with its grand houses and villas. The Villa of the Mysteries is the best-known example. Its frescoes are still some of the most famous from antiquity, often linked to Dionysus rituals. Though their exact meaning is debated, the villa also shows us something else. The gap between city life and the elite. The urban center was mixed, noisy, busy, and open. A large suburban residence offered more space, more privacy, more decoration, and a different way to show status. This is where the story gets interesting. We're not seeing a city frozen in time, it's a city living its life. A baker by the oven, a merchant closing a deal, magistrate with a case. Pompeii shocks us because its end fell upon recognizable normalcy. The exact eruption date is still debated. For a long time, August was cited, but evidence now supports an autumn date. More than a precise day, understanding the sequence is key. Around noon, Vesuvius erupted, a massive column of gas, ash, and pumice. At first, many residents likely didn't see it as an immediate end. Pompeii was used to tremors. The volcano had been part of the landscape for ages, but this time the column grew. Ash began to fall, and the light changed. The city was entering uncharted territory, and then Came the choices: wait or flee, find someone or protect the home, grab valuables, or move fast. Pumice piled up for hours, roofs started to collapse, moving around became difficult, darkness fell, breathing grew tough, and when some thought the worst was over or they could survive indoors, more lethal phases of the eruption arrived. During the night and following morning, pyroclastic flows and extreme heat hit. Herculaneum, closer to the volcano, got the harshest impact first. Pompeii, further south, endured heavy pumice fall, then the final phases of destruction. We now know seismic activity also contributed to collapses and deaths. That explains why the site is so powerful. It preserves not one moment, but diverse human responses to disaster. People who tried to escape. People who sought shelter. People trapped by debris. People who thought sheltering for hours would be enough. Pompeii isn't just a buried city's tale. It's also about how a community reacts when normalcy fails. After the eruption, there were attempts to salvage goods. But over time, Pompeii was buried and almost forgotten. Everything changed in 1748 with systematic excavations. And what emerged was extraordinary. Not just ruins, but a near-complete city. Streets, shops, altars, ovens, and courtyards. That's why Pompeii revolutionized Roman studies. Then, Vesuvius becomes more than just the end. It's also why we can still understand so clearly how a Roman city lived. That's Pompeii's great contrast. The eruption that destroyed it also preserved so much of its daily life. The same eruption that destroyed Pompeii also preserved so much of its daily life.